My beloved child, come closer in gentleness, because what I am about to place before you today is an awakening for the season of transition that has been quietly forming around your life for a very long time. Do not rush to analyze every sentence with reason, and do not allow the noise outside to pull you away from this stillness. I want you to listen with your whole heart, because certain truths cannot be understood through thought alone. They must be received with peace, humility, and honesty. I, Archangel Michael, stood near you throughout the months when you believed no one could see what you were carrying. I witnessed the nights when you struggled to keep your tears from becoming audible, the mornings when you continued fulfilling your responsibilities even though you were exhausted within, and the moments when you wondered whether your waiting would ever reach an end. Today I have come to tell you that those days were not meaningless and that a new chapter is beginning to open. Your name has been spoken, not to make you consider yourself higher than anyone else, but to confirm that you were never forgotten amid the pressures of life. Every request you whispered in silence, every tear you wiped away before another person could notice, and every time you chose to rise despite having little strength remaining, were seen. At times you believed heaven remained silent because nothing changed immediately before your eyes. But that silence did not mean preparation had stopped. A seed makes no sound while taking root, yet within the dark soil its life is being formed. In the same way, what you have long awaited has passed through an extended period of preparation, not only in outward circumstances, but also in the way you think, love, and understand your own worth. What is approaching you is not a disaster, but a warning meant to awaken you before an opportunity for renewal. I call it a red signal, not to frighten you, but to keep you from sleeping through old habits. You became accustomed to accepting disrespect in order to preserve peace, offering additional chances to people who never changed, and believing that if you were only more patient, everything would eventually improve. But my child, compassion does not require you to remain forever where you are being worn down. Kindness does not obligate you to endure behavior that damages your dignity. There are moments when love means closing a door, ending a conversation, or stepping away from a cycle that has already taught its lesson. Transformation begins when you no longer agree to live small, merely so that others can remain comfortable. I know there is a restlessness within you that is difficult to name. You feel as though you are waiting for something, even though you cannot yet determine the form in which it will arrive. Sometimes you awaken with unexpected hope and then immediately fear that you are expecting too much. At other times, you want to move forward quickly, while another part of you pulls you back toward what is familiar because you fear what you do not know. This is a sign that you are standing between two seasons. The old part of you still wants to hold on to what once felt safe, even when it is no longer healthy, while the new part is learning to believe that peace is not a trap and that goodness does not always need to be accompanied by pain. Do not blame yourself for this inner conflict. Every season of growth contains a transition in which you no longer fully belong to the past, but are not yet accustomed to the future. Perhaps you fear that some force is trying to delay the blessing meant for you, but before searching for an enemy outside yourself, look at the shadows formed through old wounds. Fear of failure may cause you to refuse an opportunity before trying. Shame may cause you to distrust someone who genuinely values you. Words that once hurt you may have become voices within your mind, continually telling you that you are not capable, not worthy, or certain to be abandoned. This is the shadow I want to help you recognize and cut away. Not because you are weak, but because you heard those words for so long that you forgot they were not the truth. You no longer need to live according to limitations that others placed upon you. Your future is not a copy of what has already happened, whatever may be occurring behind your back. If it truly needs to be known, will be brought into the light through clear and verifiable signs. I do not want you distrusting every person, examining every word, or allowing imagination to turn empty spaces into frightening stories. If someone speaks falsely about you, their actions will eventually reveal inconsistency. If a decision concerns your name or your rights, seek information calmly and wisely. Do not answer rumors with rumors, and do not allow anger to make you speak in ways that damage your own dignity. You have the right to protect yourself. Ask questions and request transparency, but do so through truth, through what can be supported, and with a heart that is not controlled by hatred. Your blessing cannot easily be stolen by another person. They may delay an opportunity, plant doubt, or cause a door to close temporarily, but they cannot take away the ability, character, and maturity that have been built within you. What makes you different is not merely an opportunity that may be waiting, but the way you preserved compassion after being hurt, continued choosing integrity when you could have compromised, and kept moving after repeated rejection. No one can imitate or take these things from you. Therefore, do not spend all your strength watching who may be opposing you. Focus instead on becoming so steady that a delay no longer possesses enough power to make you abandon the path you have chosen. The next chapter requires someone who knows how to receive without destroying what is good. You have fought for so long that when peace arrives, you may unconsciously distrust it. When someone treats you kindly, you wonder what they want. When a door opens, you immediately think of why it will soon close. When you are recognized, you fear that others will discover you are not good enough. I want you to end the habit of continually preparing for loss. Wisdom does not mean expecting the worst. Wisdom means observing carefully, establishing boundaries, and still leaving room in your heart for hope. You can be cautious without becoming closed. You can remain open without rushing. You can receive what is good without searching for hidden pain behind it. Prepare for change through practical actions. Put what is disordered back into order. Complete work you have postponed. And stop giving time to conversations that only leave you depleted. If you desire provision, manage carefully what is already in your hands. If you pray for a new opportunity, develop the ability needed to preserve it. If you desire healthy love, stop reopening the door to someone who brings promises without consistency. A miracle is not only what heaven brings toward you, sometimes it is the strength that enables you to make a decision you once lacked the courage to make. A timely refusal, a clear boundary, or one small step toward your dream can become the beginning of an entirely different future. My beloved child, from this moment onward, your life may not change completely in one night, but the way you move through each day is being renewed. Do not wait for every fear to disappear before acting. Courage does not mean that you no longer tremble. It means that you still choose what is right, even while your emotions have not fully settled. Allow what does not belong to the future to leave in peace. Do not chase someone who has chosen to turn away. Do not keep explaining your worth to a person determined to see you only through former mistakes. Do not share every plan with people who continually plant doubt. But neither should you isolate yourself from sincere people who can help you remain steady. Wise privacy protects the seed, while isolation only forces you to carry everything alone. I stand near you with the sword of light, not to attack an invisible shadow, but to cut away bonds that are no longer necessary. I cut away dependence upon approval, fear of abandonment, and the habit of treating suffering as an unavoidable part of love. I remind you that what is being rewritten first is the way you treat yourself. When you respect your time, strength, and dignity, unhealthy things can no longer enter so easily. When you stop cooperating with fear, doors once closed by your own doubt begin to open. When you know who you are, the words of others no longer possess enough authority to write your story for you. Therefore, listen with your whole heart while keeping your mind clear. Hope without falling into illusion. Trust without abandoning discernment. And prepare to move forward without allowing haste to control you. What you have prayed for is moving, but it also requires you to leave the former version of yourself who continually believed they had been forgotten. You have been seen, heard, and guided through every season. Now welcome tomorrow, not by worrying about who may be trying to hold you back, but by trusting that no shadow is stronger than the light you have learned to preserve. I remain here, teaching you to walk in peace. Protect what is forming. And remember that the true turning point begins when you no longer turn away from your worth, your discernment, and the good future opening before you. Today, I was deeply moved as I looked back upon the road you have traveled, because even during days when the burden seemed greater than you could endure, you did not release your hope, and you preserved kindness within your heart. I saw the times you wanted to close yourself because you had been wounded, and the moments when you had every reason to become bitter, yet ultimately chose not to allow the darkness of another person to change what was good within you. This is why I draw near now, not to reopen sorrow, but to tell you that the prayer you faithfully offered is entering a new stage. What you awaited was never forgotten. It was prepared through every lesson, every time you rose, and every decision you made in silence. Now open your heart to receive in peace, because the true gift is not only what is coming, but also the person you have become so that you can preserve it. If you desire to say, Amen, let it be not a hurried ritual or a key used to purchase grace, but a sincere agreement that you are ready to leave former limitations. Let that declaration mean that you will no longer deny your worth. Return to places that repeatedly made you smaller, or allow fear to steal an opportunity before you have seen it clearly. No comment can replace a change in the way you live, but a word spoken from an honest heart can remind you of the decision you are making today. You do not yet know how near renewal may be, but you do not need to chase it in panic. Continue doing what is right. Prepare what is necessary, and keep your heart from being disturbed by doubt. When the appropriate time arrives, you will recognize it not only through emotion, but through the clarity, order, and peace that accompany it. My beloved child, pause for a moment and feel the depth of what I am giving you. Perhaps someone you never expected is being prompted to enter your journey, carrying an introduction, an opportunity, assistance, or an answer to something you have sought for a long time. That person may not understand why they are remembering you, why your name has entered their thoughts, or why they feel a need to contact you at this particular time. But do not turn this into a mystical story and place your entire future in the hands of a stranger. Receive everything with discerning eyes. If someone appears, observe sincerity through action. Listen without immediately giving away trust, and allow time to confirm what is good. Some meetings genuinely become bridges into a new season, but a strong bridge will not require you to close your eyes while crossing it. One recent choice has changed more than you realize. Perhaps it was the moment when you finally said no to a cycle that depleted you. Stopped explaining yourself to someone who did not want to understand, or chose to care for yourself instead of carrying everyone's responsibility. It may have appeared small to others, but for you, it broke a pattern that had been repeated for far too long. You stopped calling endless endurance love. You began understanding that compassion does not require you to abandon yourself. You also recognized that forgiveness does not mean restoring access to someone who has not learned to value you. Through these choices, a new road is being constructed, not with great noise, but with growing consistency within you. You have begun ending habits that several generations may have considered impossible to change. Perhaps your family became accustomed to living in scarcity, remaining silent before harm, or placing outward peace above truth. Perhaps those before you lacked opportunity, support, or understanding to enter another way of living. I do not want you to judge them, because each person tried with what they possessed, but you have been given the ability to recognize the cycle and choose a healthier direction. You can learn to manage money rather than living in fear of tomorrow. You can build relationships with boundaries instead of repeating dependence. You can speak truth gently instead of burying everything until your heart becomes heavy. This is the kind of change capable of becoming a blessing for those who come after you. I am lifting the veil, not to show you secrets that cause panic, but to help you see the strength formed during silent years. You once believed your silence revealed weakness, but sometimes it prevented you from speaking words that would have deepened the harm. You once thought compassion made you easy to exploit, but when joined with wisdom, it becomes a rare source of strength. You can see another person's pain without condemning them. But now, you also know not to use understanding as an excuse for harmful behavior. You have preserved a tender heart while beginning to build strong gates. This is not emotional closure. It is evidence that you have learned to protect what is precious. Your destiny is changing direction, not because those who doubted you have suddenly changed their minds, but because you no longer allow their doubt to decide your steps. Some may continue mocking, dismissing, or claiming that your dreams are too great. Let them speak. You do not need to waste energy persuading everyone, while a seed remains beneath the soil. People may believe nothing is happening, but below the surface, the roots continue spreading. You are the same. Months without recognition taught you to work without depending upon applause. When the results appear, do not use them to answer those who doubted. Use them to build a meaningful life. Support those who need help, and preserve humility. The changes approaching may touch many areas of your life: the way others perceive you, where you live, your work, finance, and long-term plans. But understand that not everything will change in one night. Sustainable abundance usually begins through orderly steps. If you desire financial restoration, review the way you manage, learn, and prepare. If you desire a new home, Begin planning instead of only waiting. If you want your name to become known, build through quality, honesty, and consistency rather than through the need for attention. Blessing becomes stable when you know how to cooperate with it through discipline and responsibility. I do not want you merely to receive one brilliant moment. I want you to have a foundation strong enough to preserve goodness over time. Do not leave this moment with only a beautiful emotion and return to former habits. Allow what you hear today to become a practical change. Perhaps you need to complete postponed work. Seek guidance from an experienced person. Revise a plan, or end a connection that continually pulls you backward. Perhaps you need to allow yourself to rest because you became accustomed to equating worth with exhaustion. Whatever the next step may be, take it calmly. Nothing genuine requires panic. Sacred urgency does not create disorder. It brings a clear recognition that you can no longer continue betraying what you already know. I saw you pass through days when you believed you could endure no more. I saw you lift yourself after disappointment, continue loving after betrayal, and keep hoping even when answers repeatedly failed to arrive in the way you desired. But now you are no longer called merely to survive. The time has come to learn how to receive joy without distrusting it. Enter opportunity without diminishing yourself, and remain in peace without waiting for the next crisis. You became so accustomed to fighting that stability can sometimes make you uneasy. Give yourself time to relearn safety. Do not unconsciously create chaos merely because chaos was once familiar. My beloved child, the greatest transformation is not that your name becomes known by many people, that your account increases, or that your home changes. It is that you are no longer controlled by the past. It is when you can receive something good without believing you must pay for it through pain. It is when you can distinguish love from dependence, opportunity from temptation, and generosity from exhausting yourself. When you reach this clarity, outward circumstances will no longer easily take away inward peace. I remain beside you during this decisive moment, not to promise that every desire will immediately become reality, but to confirm that you are ready to walk in a new way. Receive restoration with gratitude, but do not stop preparing. Remain open to unexpected meetings while preserving discernment. Believe that the future can expand, but do not despise the small responsibilities of today. Faithfulness in small things is what will sustain you when something greater appears. Therefore, breathe deeply and say within yourself that you are ready. Not ready to receive everything you want, but ready to receive what is truly good. Even when it differs from your former expectations, you are ready to release what no longer fits. Step away from insecurity and manage what is entrusted to you with maturity. Let this become the final seal, not words typed beneath a screen, but the decision that you will not return to being the person who denied themselves. Something new is drawing near, but the miracle began on the day you chose to preserve kindness without losing boundaries. Hold on to hope without abandoning discernment, and continue walking even before anyone could see the fullness of what was being built within you. My child, you are standing before an important boundary where one wise decision can help you close an entire former season and enter a wider road. I see before you an opportunity prepared through years of patience, correction, and growth. It does not wait for a mystical sentence or an impulsive reaction. It waits for you to become calm enough to choose through truth rather than fear. In the past, you often stood very near change but allowed noise, doubt, and judgment to pull you away from what you recognized. Sometimes you returned to former habits because they were familiar. Sometimes you abandoned a healthy direction because results did not appear as quickly as expected. But today, I do not want you to continue abandoning yourself just as the road begins becoming clear. My beloved child, I know you are tired of warnings that force you to live in panic. Therefore, listen peacefully. You do not need to believe that a secret enemy is arranging a plan to destroy you. Yet, you do need caution before things that appear harmless while requiring you to surrender boundaries. Discernment, or self-respect. It may be an attractive invitation without transparency. A former person returning with beautiful promises but no new behavior. Or an offer demanding a decision before you have time to think. Danger does not always arrive with a frightening face. Sometimes it appears through something you desperately want to believe. Therefore, I do not teach you to distrust everything, but I do teach you not to give away trust merely because something moves you emotionally. If someone within your circle does something that confuses you, do not immediately accuse them. But neither should you dismiss your uneasiness. Slow down, observe, and ask questions. Do their words agree with their actions? Do they respect your need for time? Do they make you feel that you must keep secrets? Prove loyalty, or sacrifice something important. A sincere person is not afraid of clarity. A healthy opportunity does not need pressure to overcome your discernment. When you do not yet have sufficient information, you have the right to say, "I need more time to think." Moving slowly will not cause you to lose what belongs to you. It helps you avoid holding on to what was never meant for you. I remember the times when you almost no longer wanted to continue. There were nights when you stared into darkness, wondering why you should rise again while everything familiar seemed to be falling from your hands. You could find no explanation great enough and received no assurance that the morning would be easier. Yet, you continued breathing. You still got out of bed. You completed one small task, responded to someone who needed you, or quietly carried yourself through that day. Others may not consider these victories, but I know the strength required for a person to rise when almost nothing remains within. These small choices protected the goodness in you from being swallowed by despair. Those moments were not forgotten, not because they were recorded in a mystical courtroom measuring your reward, but because they left a mark within you. Every time you stood again, another layer of endurance was formed. Every time you refused to let pain make you bitter, compassion deepened. Every time you sought help instead of continuing to hide, you broke a cycle that had kept you alone. What you endured became evidence that you could pass through a dark season without having to remain forever in its darkness. I want to open before you another kind of record. Not a secret document sealed by fire, but the complete collection of promises you once made to yourself and later forgot. You once promised that you would no longer allow anyone to continually diminish you. You once decided that you would care for your health, protect your time, and refuse to return to places offering only uncertainty. You once desired to build a stable life, but because you became busy meeting everyone else's needs, you placed your own future last. Today I call you back to those promises. What is delayed is not always being held back by an outside force. Sometimes it remains delayed because you have not yet given it the focus, discipline, and courage it requires. Some promises were hindered through betrayal, but other things have not come to pass because you continue carrying doubt planted by the past. Someone once made you believe you were not good enough, and although they may have left, their voice remained in your mind. One failure caused you to fear trying again. One closed door caused you to believe every other door would close. This is the sabotage you need to recognize, not necessarily someone secretly interfering, but old words still controlling today's choices. The sword of discernment I give you is meant to cut through those lies, not to turn you against the people around you. You do not need to remain with any message out of fear that a blessing will be sealed again. What is good does not disappear merely because you become distracted, tired, or need time to think. Heaven does not require painful sacrifice to reopen an opportunity. Mercy does not work through threats. If you missed something, you can still learn and begin again. If you chose wrongly, you can still correct your direction. If you return to the past, you can still decide today to step away. No single mistake possesses the power to lock your entire future while you remain willing to change. What is urgent is not that you hear one final secret, but that you stop delaying what you already know clearly. There is a conversation that needs to happen calmly. There is a boundary that needs to be established. There is a plan you wrote and put away because you feared failure. There is a habit draining your strength that you continue convincing yourself is insignificant. The turning point you desire may not begin with a great sign, but with the decision to do what is right after repeatedly postponing it. I do not want you merely to feel moved for a moment and return tomorrow to the same life. Genuine awakening must leave evidence in your actions. When standing before an opportunity, use both hope and wisdom. Read the conditions carefully. Verify information. Seek advice. And do not allow urgency to push you into an unsafe decision. If an offer concerns money, do not transfer funds or share private information merely because you have been promised a great result. If it concerns work, ask clearly about the role, responsibilities, and benefits. If it concerns love, observe consistency rather than listening only to words that move your heart. My protection often comes through your ability to ask questions. I do not stand beside you to speak on behalf of fear. I stand here to remind you that you possess the right to choose without panic, to consider without condemning yourself, and to walk without knowing the entire road in advance. Carry forward what you learned from the old season, but do not bring with you a vigilance that makes every place appear dangerous. You need discernment, not suspicion, calmness, not passivity, openness. Without losing boundaries, what is right may challenge you, but it will not require you to betray yourself. Therefore, see today as the day when you reopen what was once delayed through one mature decision of your own. Pick up the phone and make the necessary call. Complete the unfinished application. Speak the refusal you have kept inside, or seek support for pain you cannot untangle alone. Do not wait for an invisible seal to be broken. Your upright action is how the door begins to move. You did not survive difficult days only to become their prisoner again. You were refined so that you could move forward with greater steadiness, humility, and understanding.